I did not have an intro, but I have finally continued the abandoned zoo map. Today we're just going to continue to fill it out with some more abandoned enclosures and just like some structures around the zoo to kind of tie it all together. I'll be very honest, I had different plans. I remember that in the last episode of this specific series, I did say that I had like specific ideas that I wanted to do. This is not that. This is just me kind of getting back into the vibe of this, which is still a vibe I'm very much in love with. You should know by now that I love building things that are kind of broken, kind of abandoned, kind of creepy. So this has always been right up my alley, or maybe to rephrase that, this has become my alley. So welcome to my alley. And it's a creepy alley. But yeah, we're building in this zoo. Right now we are building for the train track. I remember when I did build the train station, I said that I, don't really have much of a plan for the train track. So I just kind of wanted to include this. We're building sort of a platform. So my idea here was that the people are kind of standing up higher than the train tracks are, and they can kind of look down and watch the train go by, and the train kind of goes through two of these like platforms things, which you'll see in a minute or a few minutes when I get to that. And yeah, that is that, and obviously it will be overgrown and it will be half stuffed away, and the train could never go through there, which I kind of wanted to end the tracks there so that, when you guys get to redo or, renew, move over, what's it called? Renovate. That's the word I'm looking for. When you renovate this and you inherit this zoo after it's passed on to you. I don't know where I was going with that, but when you get the zoo and you get to play with it, I wanted you to have some more freedom with how you wanted the train tracks to go, so I didn't do full train tracks, but they kind of felt fun to be included here. So yeah, you can obviously, like always, get rid of everything, but you can also allow it to still be part, which is, you obviously you could bulldoze everything and just make it flat, but that's not really the point, is it? So, yeah, I hope that some of these structures are inspiring to you, and I really kind of like these sort of platform things. I think maybe if you're someone who struggles with, getting some height elevations in, this could kind of be a fun little guideline for that, which ultimately is what I want from this, because I think, what makes a map interesting is that it does come with some structures that will, kind of pull you out of your usual way of building, and this is what I hope this does. Obviously, it doesn't have to, you can change everything, but yeah, I guess you understand what I'm trying to say here. I'm sorry if this is more rambly than usual. I have the worst headache, and I don't know why. I hope I'm not sick. I work with people all day, and, it's inevitable that a certain virus comes my way, and I hope I didn't catch it again. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't think I was gonna be sick, but now my mom texted me, and I saw my mom yesterday, and she texted me that she felt sick, and she has the same kind of, she has a super bad headache, and kind of her throat hurts, and this is the same that I'm experiencing right now, so, I don't know. That wouldn't be fun. I don't want to be sick. But yeah, I hope, because I have to work tomorrow, and, so I'm gonna have to make it through tomorrow. I'm not feeling sick to the point where I'd be like, I shouldn't go to work, to be honest. I don't actually feel sick. I didn't feel sick until my mom texted me. I just had a headache, and to be honest, I just thought it was because I didn't sleep much tonight, which could also be that. So, I'll see. I hope that it's nothing. I hope that it's just a lack of sleep, which it could very well be, so yeah. But going back to the build, actually, I do the thing that I love to do a lot. I even do it in like non-abandoned zoos, but not to the extent that I do it here, is to cover up the path with this like with the decals and some stuff there. And I think that this video is maybe kind of a fun thing to watch how I do foliage work, because it is very foliage heavy because it's very much overgrown. And so like I like to do these type of paths, and it's also really nice if because you're not really building an abandoned zoo every day, and I get that, but if you just want like a sort of aged path, it's a pretty easy way to do to take the mossy decal from the Europack, color it to like recolor it because it's recolorable, to the what's it called, the hue of the floor that you're working with. So if you're on grass or on a different map or on sand, you can recolor it to that color and then kind of feather out the edges of it. And then if you're working with grass anyway, by the way, I recommend this path that I'm actually using because it does already come with like this little like idea of like some grass poking through. So what I like to do is there's this like very flat it's a very flat plant. You can see it in the video when I'm working on the paths, but it's sink this into the ground, or you don't even really have to sink it into the ground. It's very flat, and it kind of sits on top of this moss stuff and kind of gives it more of a not a texture, like more dimension, and then you can also add grass. I didn't do it in here, I don't know why, but a lot of the grass pieces that we're getting now are so good for this too. Really love I think it's called honey grass from the conservation pack, but also in one of the latest updates there was this like bison grass. I think in German it's called bison grass. I'm not sure what it's called in English, maybe that, but it came in different colors and whatnot, and that is also really good to do that kind of stuff. Didn't do it here because this is also very busy already. I didn't feel like it needed the grass, but if you want something more subtle that doesn't have like huge bushes already growing to the sides of it and covering everything, the grass is definitely a good option to doing that. And the way I like to do it is, you have to think that the path, nothing grows there, and the things that are trying to grow, they are shy. They are shy from the path. So you want to have like the middle of the path to be the lowest growth point, right? And from there on out, you kind of want to feather it out, but also, have a steady. I don't know how to explain this. Like a incline basically, so you have the flattest part that is the path where people would still be walking, because where the people still walk, they would push down the plants and nothing would grow there, but to the sides things can grow, and over time what would happen if you logically think about it, the more the plants on the sides of the path grow, the less the people would walk there because they wouldn't want to have branches in their faces, and so the path would get narrower and smaller things would start to grow on the sides because people walk there less. If that makes sense, I hope. But that's kind of the way that I try to go about this and how to make these paths feel logical to me. And that's kind of all I do. And I think once you like find the materials and the way to do that, it becomes like second nature. Like you don't have to think about it much. I did cut out some of it too, I think, because it felt kind of repetitive, because especially the moth placing. Where did the moth came from? No, the moss placing especially kind of takes some time. And you can also use the random rotation tool, which I never use for anything but that. But yeah, I like to do it like that. What I'm building right now is, my idea here was that in the middle of this, when this was still a running zoo, in the middle of this like curvy path, there used to be like a planter, so like, purposefully planted plants, and my idea was kind of like, maybe it was because I listened to a podcast, and they were talking about Disneyland. I'm not a Disney person. The podcast is about reviews, and they were reading funny reviews from Disney parks. By the way, if that sounds funny to you, they are reading funny reviews. It's called Beach Too Sandy, Water Too Wet, which that's so funny as a name already. Very cool podcast. I'm obsessed with it lately. But anyway, they were reading Disney land reviews, and so maybe that was what I had in the back of my mind for some reason that made me think of these, like, you know how very well manicured gardens and parks and zoos, and I think it's a very American thing too, where they will have like kind of like a word written in flowers on like a bit of an incline in the terrain. So that was what I was thinking about. So I figured, this was where they would put plants actually, and they would start growing wild, because obviously this is abandoned. And so all over the area around this, you see these like purple flowers growing. And I kind of thought that was cute. I don't know if these flowers are something that grows on its own and like spreads on its own. I have no idea about that, but that was kind of my story behind it. And yeah, so there I cut out some of the stuff of the path, but in a second I think there's another section where I'm actually placing these like mossy decals. And also with the curb on this path, I wanted to include it. I kind of wanted to make it a like broken curb, and I entirely abandoned it. I ended up deleting all the curbs. I don't know where I was going with that, because the more it was overgrown, the less needed it felt. Yeah, unfortunately what I'm doing there, I wanted to have these like smaller like aviary types, and I figured this would work with the roof pieces, but it didn't, and I kind of didn't feel like building a roof, because this was one of those things where it's very likely that you're never going to use this when you're someone renovating this. So yeah, but also this big, I don't know what they're called, these bush type grass things, they are so perfect. They are one of my favorite pieces. These like light green ones, they are placed everywhere, and they make such good dense grass, which I know they are not, but like they are not supposed to be grass, but I use them as such, and they are such a nice pop of color. They have this very nice shape that already feels very organic, even if you just place one, because the highest stuff is in the middle, and then it goes smaller to the sides, which is exactly how I place all my like low growing plants anyway. So that is very, very helpful to me, to have a plant that's already like that. And yeah, so over here, I'm gonna be honest, I was a bit lazy with this. I could have done this more precisely, but I ended up just covering up some mistakes there. That's why it has these little like pillars to the sides. And I mean, I'm excited to see what you do of this, but I totally understand if you want to delete it. It's not the most exciting part of this, but I felt like something like this would be needed to kind of drive home the point that this was a zoo. So yeah, maybe this was all like monkey things, maybe it was an aviary, maybe it had something entirely different. I don't know. Okay, I don't know. So Sirius trying to tell me the weather. Stop. Sirius trying to tell me the weather today. Thank you so much. I don't know what that was. So if you ever wanted to hear the weather cast in German, there you have it. I don't know why that happened. I have to listen back to what I said, what could have possibly sounded like that was what I wanted. And it's also really funny because my phone is right next to me, but my iPad on the other side of the room reacted to that. So I don't know what happened there. But yeah, that was fun. Yeah, so this is the last part, kind of ish. I am building a bit of an enclosure there, and as much as I don't want to influence what you're going to make out of this, my idea here was, because I'm trying to get better at talking about my ideas behind things, my idea here was that this is kind of an older-ish, like a, what's it called? Like a dangerous animal, like a carnivore, like something that would have to be contained, like a lion, a tiger, a bear, something like this. So that was kind of my thought behind this, and that is kind of the type of fence that this is supposed to be. Obviously, you can make whatever you want out of it, but yeah, it's also leaning kind of against the perimeter of the zoo that I took for myself. Again, you can also extend it. There's a lot of space still left on the map. But it kind of leans against that, which is so dangerous. I don't think a real zoo would really keep that bit of a distance there, because if you think about it, you can't really put this type of enclosures right next to the public. So if someone were to climb over that fence not knowing what they were climbing into, that would be very, very dangerous. Obviously, don't climb over fences. There's a reason there's a fence. You're not supposed to climb over it. Not just in a zoo, just in general. Just beware of that when you're trying to climb fences. You don't know what's on the other side usually. So, yeah. So, you're welcome for that public service announcement. But, yeah, okay. So yeah, that's what I'm doing there, and I'm making a bit of a pathway there that was a viewing gallery. I'm also trying to kind of start to introduce a bit of a forest, because that is what I want for the perimeter of this, because I don't want to set like a real perimeter in terms of this zoom wall, because I feel like that will be very restricting. So a lot of this kind of has open ends to some of the sides, you know, if that makes any sense the way I said it. But I still want to keep things open-ended, but I also want someone to be able to tour this and say, oh, this is an abandoned zoo, I see it, I get it, but I also want this to still have a lot of opportunities for people to be creative once they get to renovate it, and not be like all set in stone already, in terms of like the layout and stuff. So that's also why a lot of the paths are not connected. So right now, actually, you see me doing the thing with the paths, the decorating. So there's already the moss. Now I'm using this like little low hanging plant, and then after that I go in with a bit of larger foliage. So these are the bush grass type of things that I was talking about that make good grass. So they are already a bit higher growing, and then I use some trees that I sink down, and this like I don't know what they're called. They look a bit like ivy. Oh my god, ivy, but they're not. And then yeah, you know, just like layering different heights, and then putting in a tree there. I think at some point, you know, you kind of realize, you know, this is sort of a higher point. This needs a tree, or it doesn't, you know. And that's kind of how I go about my foliage. It's really hard to explain. I have started like writing down things like foliage work tips type things, and I do have ideas on what I could tell you, you know, if it's not a speed build and it's not like flying by, but it's definitely harder than because I also started writing a script kind of for like general quick tips, like how to quickly improve your building kind of stuff, you know, and that was definitely a lot easier than this, you know, than foliage, because it's way more intuitive in a way, I guess, but I try to, you know, verbalize what I'm doing better, which I hope you like. And yeah, this is almost done. I will leave you with a few seconds of music like always, and then we will do a real-time part of this kind of all over the place thing. Okay, so I think that everything kind of starts to connect nicely now. This is the entrance. This was the last episode of this, which was ages ago, I'm aware. And so if you come in, it's not right there, and there's still some stuff laying about that I just pulled out of the catalog to build with. So there will be some sort of connection there, but this is one of the areas that I kind of want to keep a bit clean so that you can do with it what you want. Obviously, you don't even have to use the old entrance for anything. You can just do whatever. Okay, so I'm trying to think what's a good place to start. I'm going to start here, actually. So this is actually one of the houses that we built. I think that this was one of the first episodes of this. So I kind of connected it up here. And let's actually walk. Can't always fly. Let's actually get rid of this. So, maybe change the daytime a bit. I don't know. That helps. All right. So we have this, no particular animal in mind here, but it's already broken. And obviously this would be a path that would go here somewhere and then you would have to figure out how to connect the train station. And here right now is the train tracks that start up again. Someone broke this. And then I just want to show you, I think that it looks really cool from the train tracks as well. It's actually, give us some more light here. I think this already looks pretty cool. Also with this type of fence in the back and the greenhouse here, I think this looks kind of cool. Like, I could imagine, like, it would be cool to go on this train and see all of this, and then somewhere around here you would and see over here. Like, this is how it used to go. But let's actually go back here, and then we can start over from here. This will definitely, I'll leave this kind of open. Maybe I'll board it up in some way or anything. But let's actually plop ourselves back down into this overgrown thing here. And this is kind of cool. I kind of like this, that this is sort of on a bit of a higher path going through it. This obviously you can use as an enclosure. And over here is the train. I've not really done anything with this side. I just thought it would be cool if it went through these two circular things. But yeah. This is, by the way, the grass bush type thing that I kept talking about. Don't know what it's called, and even if I knew, it would probably be in German, so who knows? So yeah, there's nothing really in there. This is probably the cleanest habitat we have in here. And now we're entering the territory of this like overgrown thing where the flowers did their own thing after a while. So we have a bench that is entirely, encapsulated, and you can still see a path going through, but obviously the flowers definitely took it all, and they extended out towards this sort of more foresty area here, which we're gonna look at in a second. And then, I should have fixed this here. This doesn't look nice. But yeah, so this is kind of the rounded path type of thing where I said that this used to have like a flower, like a very manicured flower type thing, and it doesn't anymore. We have a old log type here. And yeah, we'll look at this from above again too. But yeah, nice bench here. And then there's more of this like overgrown stuff, another bench that has seen better days. And here's a lot of stones. I figured maybe this used to be like a stone garden or whatever. I don't know. And then here we have these old enclosure things. Again, I don't really know if you would want to use them. That's why I didn't put much effort into those. But if you want to, obviously you can put more effort into it. Yeah, over here there's the train tracks that we just talked about. And you can uncover them. You can also just not use them or put them into an enclosure. Do whatever you want. So yeah, all trees and everything. So let's actually go out of... oh god. So let's actually look at it from above. I think this kind of looks way cooler from above because it's this big picture of all of this overgrown stuff just everywhere. And then, we didn't even look at this part from the people's perspective. So over here, we have another little area, which doesn't this look so cozy? Like, imagine this was still running and you could just sit on a bench like under this nice tree and just watch the animals go by. I think this would be really cool. Not so cool that they could break out here, but yeah. So let's fly up here. So we have some of these box things. I didn't want it to make it too obvious, what animal was in there, because, I said it a million times, but I still want that freedom for you guys. But I wanted to show you actually that the flower stuff also extends over into this. I was a bit lazy in the end. I did pick up a lot of those flowers and copy them over a bunch of times because it's very much hard work to layer all of these flowers together. If you look at this, you know, this sort of, what's it called? Like it's not a lawn, right? If it's not mowed, I don't know. But yeah, that is kind of all, I guess. I hope that you like it. I hope that you're excited that this is back. I know that someone has already asked if I discontinued it. No, I didn't. I still very much love this, but I had to get back into the mood for this, and I think I did that. So I'm excited to actually continue with some of the things that I did have planned for this. And yeah, I hope that you're excited to see it back as well. So thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you around another time. Bye!